Let's now shift our focus to the other big story that we are tracking. On the 11th day of the Supreme Court hearing on the petitions against the abrogation of Article 370 at the top court, they made a significant observation on Article 35A. The Chief Justice of India stated that Article 35A, which granted special rights to permanent residents of the erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir, took away three key rights from Indians. The bench further observed that Article 35A also took away the power of judicial review by disabling the court from scrutinizing any law of J&K framed under this constitutional provision. The centre told the Supreme Court that the Pulwama terror attack prompted the decision. The Supreme Court has also asked when the statehood of Jammu and Kashmir will be restored and when elections will be allowed. Meanwhile, the CJI has also sought a roadmap for the statehood of J&K.
Applied. But now see what happens. If you look at the CO, it applies part 3. That is volume 3. You get it at volume 3, page
14.
Page 14.
Yes.
Volume 3, page 14. But you bring in Article 35A, which creates an exception in 3 areas. Employment under the state government, 2, acquisition of removable property, 3, settlement in the state, leave aside scholarships. So though part 3 is made applicable, by the same vein, when you introduce Article 35A, you are taking away the 3 rights, 3 fundamental rights. 16(1), 19,
14.
and 16(1). Then you are taking away the right to acquire removable property, which then was a fundamental right under 19(1)(f) and Article 31. And third, settlement in the state, which is a fundamental right under 19(1)(e).
Right.
So those the Constitution expressly made the provisions of Article 19 applicable, which would include these 3 rights, and Article 16. By enacting 35A, you virtually took away the fundamental right.
And that crucial hearing at the top court still continues. It in fact now has been resumed post a short lunch break. What we're understanding is the Solicitor General Tushar Mehta has gone on to state that the Union Territory status of J&K, Jammu and Kashmir, isn't permanent. There is a positive statement as far as a timeline would only be possible after a high-level meeting. Remember, these were questions that were raised before the bench broke as far as lunch is concerned. Let's also now bring in our legal correspondent Ananya Bhatnagar, who is joining us on the broadcast. Ananya, so we're understanding the hearing continues. It in fact has been resumed. Help us understand what are the details that you're picking up.
Well, definitely, the Solicitor General of India, Mr. Tushar Mehta, was asked in the previous session to actually come up with the roadmap as to how soon is in fact the central government coming back, giving back a central status to, the state of Jammu and Kashmir. And in fact, what is very, very categorically stated by, in fact, the Solicitor General of India, Mr. Tushar Mehta, is that though a permanent status of a UT for the state of Jammu and Kashmir is not permanent in nature, Ladakh will still remain a union territory so far. And with regards to the timeline as to when this permanent status of J&K as a state would be restored and the UT structure would be removed, is something that he will be able to make on August 31 is what Mr. Tushar Mehta has told the topmost of the country. Very, very clearly, he also read on the 2019 speeches of Mr. Amit Shah, who had then at that point of time, when there were discussions with regards to the abrogations were taking place, his speeches were also read in wherein it is very, very categorically clear. And Mr. Amit Shah too had made a statement very categorically in those speeches that, this permanent status of Jammu and Kashmir as a state would in fact be given back at the end of the day. UT is only a temporary period, and after, in fact, there is a timeline set that will be only clear only after August 31 meeting of the highest level. So we'll have to wait for August 31 as to get a particular timeline as to when the statehood of the state of Jammu and Kashmir would be restored. But at the same point of time, this is something that is a big development coming in, because the major contention has always remained that the state of Jammu and Kashmir should be restored as a state and not the UT status should be removed. So very clearly, the topmost court of the country is informed by Mr. Tushar Mehta that, the permanent status is, in fact, the UT status is something that is temporary, and the status of a state would come back to Jammu and Kashmir, but the timeline of it would only be clear after August 31st meeting.
Okay, so this is crucial that Ananya is pointing out. The other aspect, Ananya, I want to understand is the spotlight and the focus on Article 35A, a crucial observation that has come in, which says that till now, because 35A was in place before the abrogation of Article 370, it essentially took away key fundamental rights of Indians. Could you shed more light in terms of what that observation has meant and what the observation essentially says?
Well, definitely. The discussions were on with regards to Article 35A, and it was the submission of Mr. Tushar Mehta that, Article 35A was introduced as a shocking amendment to the Constitution of India. And in fact, the Chief Justice of India too affirmed to it, clearly saying that, this takes away three major fundamental rights from the people of Jammu and Kashmir who are not considered as the permanent residents. That special status, though the people that which don't have this particular status, three major rights are gone away from them. Number one is the right to buy immovable property like houses, etc. Second is the right to do a job or employment in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. And third, of course, is the permanent state, is the special status that is granted to the people of Jammu and Kashmir there. And in fact, the power of judicial review too goes away with Article 35A being in place, and that's how Mr. Tushar Mehta was actually explaining why the 35A has been removed. And in context of that, the Chief Justice of India made these observations. So how much of it does it play up is something that we'll have to wait for the final judgment to come in. But these are crucial observations that were made by the top court of the country yesterday on the day 11 of the hearing. And now on the day 12, it's important in the crucial submission coming in from Mr. Tushar Mehta is that, the permanent status, the UT status is not permanent, and statehood would be, given back to the state of Jammu and Kashmir very soon.
Okay, Ananya, we'll have to leave that conversation there. Keep tracking all those developments for us. Let's take a look at some other reactions coming in.
35A को लेकर 370 को लेकर जो चर्चा सुप्रीम कोर्ट में चल रही है, उसमें सीजीआई का ये कहना कि इतने सालों तक 35A जब तक था, इंडिया के लोगों के जो फंडामेंटल राइट्स है उसको दूर रखा गया।
देखिए, आपने अभी जो 370 के बाद जो जम्मू और कश्मीर में एक बदलाव आया है, पॉजिटिव चेंजेस आए हैं, सकारात्मक परिवर्तन आया है। कल ही मैंने देखा कि तमाम विदेश के लोग भी वहाँ के जो सामाजिक हो, सियासी हो, सांस्कृतिक गतिविधियां हैं वो सामान्य हुई हैं। और कल जो है वो तमाम वहाँ के जो बच्चे बच्चियां हैं और तमाम और भी देश और विदेश से लोग वहाँ जाकर के जिस तरह से उन्होंने तारीफ की है, आज मैंने अखबारों में देखा, कुछ टेलीविजन चैनल्स पे भी देखा, इससे गर्व जो है वो सर गर्व से ऊंचा होता है। लेकिन वो लोग जो लोग की आतंकवाद और अलगाववाद के कंधे पर बैठ करके अपनी सियासत करते रहे, उनको जरूर हताशा निराशा है।